Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, the Seahawks have a brand new offensive coordinator, Klint Kubiak. We'll talk all about what he could be bringing to this Seahawks offense in 2025. We will also get to some bad news in regards to the Seahawks coaching staff, as Pete Carroll is potentially trying to steal away one of the Seahawks assistant coaches. We will dissect that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Also, we're going to talk free agent targets. We're going to go over the key positions of need for Seattle, and I got 3 players for each position that Seattle could potentially sign coming up in just a bit. Also, we're going to talk replacements for Tyler Lockett as well, as we'll go over some options for Seattle, both in free agency and in the draft. You will not want to miss out on that coming up in just a little while from right now. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling. We are coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas, on this fine Monday afternoon. We're bringing you these live shows now each and every Monday and Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. So just go ahead and make this appointment viewing to be here with us on the program each and every week. And let's see, where are you guys at? I got Ty-Man the Buckeye, as always, checking in from Ohio. Ty-Man, I missed you last night on the other channel. We could have used your help, my guy, but we had a good time anyway. It was a very fun night last night. I was glad to see the Chiefs beat the Bills and get to the Super Bowl, setting up for a fantastic matchup. Chiefs and Eagles. I want to see the three-peat. I really want to see the three-peat. I want to see history. I love me some Patrick Mahomes. Should be a fun Super Bowl matchup. That Chiefs-Bills game was fantastic yesterday. Let us know where you're at. I got a little Phonesy in Seattle. Got Hulk in Iowa. Got Lil Busy in Iola, Kansas. Sorry. I have been through Iola several times, actually. We got Out Park in San Antonio. Got Zach in Spanaway, Washington. Gordon in Washington State. Ryan in Richmond, Virginia. Got Mike checking in from Mexico. Cancun on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cancun. That's what the Bills were doing last night. Got Terrence checking in from Terrence. Got Mike Butler. That's my dad's childhood best friend. I don't think it's the same Mike Butler in the chat, though. He's checking in from Spokane, Washington. What else? We got Mikey in Houston is in Houston. Brian in Bellevue. Got Blake in Missoula, Montana. Got Ian in Auburn. Sam says I'm a Swiftie. You know, I'll say it. T-Swift, she's got a couple good songs I like. Love Story, absolute banger. We got King Hawk in Olympia, got Joel in Longview, Sam in Syracuse, Terrence in Yakima, got Grub from Iowa, got J-Tap in Texas. Barry says KC's going to win it all. Juno is in Clifton Park, New York. Got Legend Life in New York. Got Thomas in Vancouver. Everybody checking in from all over the country, all over the world here on this live edition of Seahawks Today. Let's ask you, how would you grade the hire of Klint Kubiak as the Seahawks' new offensive coordinator? It is our poll question today, A, B, C, D, or F. And so far, 44% of you going A, 42% going B, 8% going C, 5% going D or F. Get your grades in now and let us know where you're at. Legend Life actually in Topeka, Kansas. I'm sorry you had to hang out in Topeka. Nobody should have to hang out in Topeka, Kansas. As somebody that's been to Topeka many times, I have no desire to go back to Topeka anytime soon. Legend Life is giving it a B. Barry says F. How? How's this an F hiring? Let's see. We got King Hawk saying B. Ian says, how can we grade before we see the product? Because that's called hindsight being 2020, Ian. This is your initial grade. You can grade it later, but I want your grade now. All right, it's grade the hire, not the results. All right. I get what you mean, but that's not what we're looking for. There we go, Ian. He says B. Friday says A+. Lori says B. Hulk says, do you hate Grub? No, I don't hate anybody. Hate's a strong word. All right? I don't hate anybody. Juno says A. Tyman says B. Some of the grades there in the chat. Let's tell you about our sponsors. Let's begin with Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed, whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, more. Look, I've had some great memories over the years taking my dad to an NFL playoff game, and you can do the same. Maybe you're looking for tickets to the big game. Maybe you're looking for tickets within the Seattle area to go to a sporting event, concert, theater production. Maybe you want to go see the Kraken. We got all sorts of options for you. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They have their super deals. If you see super deal, that is a deal you don't want to pass up on. You can customize your spot. They also have their seat views as well. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then boom, just like that, you're checking out on Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. And Game Time offers the lowest price guarantee. Otherwise, they will credit you 110% of the difference. Your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPRTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. We are also sponsored by our friends at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose two or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. The big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you are correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. So here's what I got. Since you're giving me the free pick with Mahomes, I'm going to pair that up with more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown with Saquon Barkley as well. If I put $20 down on this, that turns into $50 on PrizePicks. And right now on PrizePicks, folks, they got a couple of great things they're offering. You can win $50 to play for free. When you play $5, you don't even have to win the money. And also, you can win up to 1,000 times your money right now on PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/SailS. Promo code SailS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, proud partner of Seahawks Today. Glad to have him on board here on today's show. Making his return to the program today is none other than Big Tex. We had Brett Alper with us last Wednesday, but he is not here. And no, we have not fired him. He is still employed here, but he is doing other things today. So Big Tex is back, making his triumphant return. If you would like a shout-out from Big Tex, all you have to do is spam S in the chat, and let's see how many S's we can get over this next minute. Yes, Tex. Oh, somebody messed up your microphone. So you're just going to have to hold it like a TikTok influencer. Okay. So Tex is going to play the role of a TikTok influencer because somebody messed up his microphone. Just lovely there. But go ahead and spam S in the chat. Tex,
yes, sir.
Eagles dominate.
Yep.
How about that Chiefs-Bills game? That was a great game last night.
That was one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life. It was neck and neck the entire time. I mean, sorry to the Bills fans out there, but I can't help but think Josh Allen just choked. Such a choker. Could never be Patrick Mahomes. Could never be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a Bills fan right now.
What do you think of the matchup right now, Chiefs and Eagles? What's your early thoughts?
Oh, give me the Chiefs any day. I freaking hate the Eagles. As a former Cowboys fan turned Chiefs fan, I despise the Eagles even still. Not rooting for the Cowboys anymore. And nothing would bring me more pleasure than my new favorite team beating one of my most hated teams in the biggest game of the year, being the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So I got the Chiefs winning 24-14.
Big Tex is a Chiefs fan.
Oh, yeah. Massive Chiefs fan.
I can't relate. It's all Seahawks here.
That's right.
But, hey, If you would like a shout out for Big Tech, spam S in the chat. I want to see as many S's as we can over this next minute. And let's get the chat going. Wake up the algorithm a little bit. Let people know we're here. We're doing a live show here on this Monday. Spam S. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Tyman, Hulk, Smash, Smash Bro, Juno, Tyman, Ian, Legend, Hulk, Ian, Legend, Hulk, Ian, Legend, Tyman, Hulk, King, Hulk, Legend, Sage, Hulk, King, Hulk, Zach, Ian, Hulk, Zach, Raw Hector, strange name, King, Ian, Zach, Raw, Adam, Pat, Raw. Do you like it raw? Pause. Ryan, King, Legend, Mikey, King, Tice, King, Tyman, King, Ian, Pat. Let's get those S's in there. You want a shout out from Big Tex? You better get those S's in there.
Keep going. We got about 10 seconds left.
Finish the fight. Ian, Seahawks, Tyman, Zach, Tice, not Tyrese. It's Revo, Tyman, Seahawks, Pat, Seahawks, Zach.
There we go.
Good stuff.
Nice work. Got some new names in there,
That's
too.
right.
Very well done. I got 100+ people watching already. Not a bad start. If you would like to officially start today's show, we need to get to 50 likes on today's video. We are currently at 33 right now. I will crack open my first can of cold beer. Got some Millers today. A fine Pilsner beer. Got some cold Millers. I will crack open one when we get to 50 likes. We are at 33 right now, so I need about 17 more likes, and then we will officially get today's show started. If you're excited to be here on a Monday here on Seahawks Today, if you love the Seattle Seahawks, you want them to have a great offseason, hit that like button. And when you hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. Raw Hector responded to you, by the way. I'm not going to read that out loud, but I just want your eyes to see.
Wow. That's a lot more literal than I was anticipating. I didn't realize that. Good for you, man. Just be careful out there, though. Be careful. That's a very risky game you're playing there, my friend. It's
yeah.
It's kind of life or death in a way.
Now it makes sense why he's got that username.
Yes. If you're,
he wasn't kidding.
I hope his pull-out game is good. That's all. Whoa.
Wow, that escalated quickly. 5 more likes away from starting the show. Type me in the chat when you liked the video. Ian liked it. Tyman liked it. Pat liked it. Who else liked the video? I need 3 more, then we can get the show started. Mikey in Houston says, click like, deadbeats. All right, keeping it real, I see. 3 more likes, and then we will start today's show, and I'll crack open this cold Miller. Legend Life says, quick question. Do you think the Seahawks are going to trade Geno Smith to the Raiders for some picks or a player? No. I'll tell you that right now. Geno is not going anywhere. He will be back next season. 3 more. That's all I need. I need 3 more likes. Then we can start the show, and I can open a can of cold Miller. Joel Ray liked the video. Thank you, Joel. Pat liked it. There we go. 50 likes. There we go. Lon liked it as well. Legend, you don't have to spam that question. I just answered it. I just answered it for you. Cheers. All right. Yeah. I already answered that question. And he's still spamming the chat with the same question. There is no mailbag today. We don't do mailbags on Mondays. That's only for Wednesdays. But you still have plenty of opportunities to get on today's show, folks. You can send us a super chat. $sign next to the chat box, and whatever message you have, you can get your name, your avatar. We can get that all for you on screen with a super chat of any amount. Super chat deals today. We still have plenty, and I mean plenty, of Jell-O shots in the building. I have, how many did I bring with me today? And I can always grab more if I need to. I have 8 Jell-O shots. I want to get rid of all of these before the show ends. They are red. Looks kind of Chiefs red, actually. $10, we'll take down a Jell-O shot. $20, we will do a beer bong. I have the beer bong right here in all its glory. If you have a comment, if you have a question, look, Raw Hector, that's a wild statement too. The only way you're guaranteed that I can see your comment or question that you have is by sending a super chat. So if you would like to send us a super chat, I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's $50. We can go crazy. We can have a good time today. The offer always stands that when we get to 300 in Super Chats, we will do a boot on today's show. But you guys got to do your part. So we'll see if we can get some Super Chats in, if we can have a good time today. Feel free to send us a Super Chat of any amount. $sign next to the chat box. $10 for Jello Shots. $20 for beer bongs. And whoever sends in the first Super Chat today, I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's $50. We are going to go crazy for that first Super Chat. We're going to show you some love in the chat today. So feel free to send a Super Chat, and let's party today. Who said we can't party on a Monday? It is the saddest week of the NFL season, folks, because it is the bye week. All right? We got to settle for the Pro Bowl this week. And they don't even play a real Pro Bowl anymore. It's the Pro Bowl games. Lame. We got to watch flag football? I'm not watching that shit. No, thank you. No, thank you. But nonetheless, we will have a good time no matter what here on today's show. There's the Super Chat menu. We'll see who's going to send in the first Super Chat of the day. In the meantime, here's what's coming up on today's program. We'll go over the latest news and rumors on your Seattle Seahawks. I have some good news, and I have some bad news that we will get to coming up in just a bit. Also, we're going to go over free agent targets for each key position of need for Seattle. And then we're going to talk replacements for Tyler Lockett. As I've said many times on this show for the last several months, it is likely the end of the Tyler Lockett era. We have probably seen Tyler Lockett in a Seahawks uniform for the last time, unless he's willing to take a massive pay cut of sorts. So we're going to go over the potential replacements for Tyler Lockett and break down that situation for you coming up in just a bit. So that is what's ahead. Appreciate y'all being here as we get going here on this live Monday edition of Seahawks Today. We're with you each and every Monday, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. Make this appointment viewing to be here with us each and every week here on Seahawks Today. We'll get started with our first segment as we're talking news and rumors beginning right. Yep. Beginning right now here on Seahawks Today. Let's get started. You're watching Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. 49ers host Chase Sr. He told me today, he said, Tyler, there's no way you guys could get 800 likes on today's video. And I told him, Chase, you're ridiculous. We can easily get 800 likes on today's video. This is coming from a Niners fan whose team didn't even come close to making the playoffs this year. At least the Seahawks came close, right? The battles wage on, whether it's in the season or in the offseason. We want to show who's boss. Prove him wrong, 12s. Like the video, we'll get started with today's show. Welcome in. We have some good news and we have some bad news to get to here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today after the Seahawks hired Klint Kubiak as the new offensive coordinator. Do you want to start with the good news or do you want to start with the bad news? Tell you what, I'll make the decision for you. Let's start with the good news. Klint Kubiak, I believe, is the right man to solve the Seahawks red zone crisis. Look, there's a lot of problems going on in the world right now, and one of the issues that's plaguing the great city of Seattle is how in the hell do they fix the red zone problems that have plagued this Seahawks team in 2024? Well, they may have found the right man for this when it comes to Klint Kubiak. Let me explain more. The Seahawks this past season ranked 14th in the NFL in red zone scoring touchdown percentage, 57.14%. But that doesn't necessarily tell the full story. When you think about the turnover issues, more of that in just a bit. Also, the opening drives of games. Not one time did the Ryan Grubb-led Seahawks offense have an opening drive touchdown this year. There was a lot of issues there when it came to capitalizing in the red zone in those opportunities. Well, then you turn your attention to Klint Kubiak, who comes over from the New Orleans Saints. And let's be real with y'all. The New Orleans Saints were a mess this year. And there were a lot of things that were out of Klint Kubiak's control when it came to this Saints team as they were dealing with all sorts of injuries. He had an incompetent coaching staff around him. He had to deal with the biggest fraud quarterback in the NFL, Derek Carr. And then Derek Carr gets hurt, and they had to go to Spencer Rattler, and it was just a mess. Even despite all that, their red zone scoring touchdown percentage was still higher than the Seattle Seahawks at 58.14%, 11th best in the NFL. They were still 11th best with all the issues that faced that Saints team. And then you knew this was coming. Geno led the NFL in red zone interceptions. I will say, it wasn't always his fault. We're not necessarily putting all the blame on Geno, but that's part of why Klint Kubiak's coming in, is to help Geno out, and also the other guys that were a part of the problem of these red zone issues and mistakes that were made. The Saints offense was above the NFL average in designed rush rate, and they put the quarterback under center at the 5th highest rate of any team in the National Football League this past season. And so what that tells me is that this offense is going to be more of a traditional pro-style offense as opposed to the air raid scheme that was run under Ryan Grubb. And with that, with the emphasis of running the football and putting Geno under center, that, in theory, should take less pressure off of Geno Smith, where he would be less prone, in theory, to making those same red zone mistakes. Lining up under center more and being more physical and running the football and turning over the ball less is a recipe for red zone success for Seattle here. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Sounds great to me. And I know there's going to be some doubters when it comes to Klint Kubiak, but that alone, I think, is a step in the right direction there. So that's some very good news for Seahawk fans there. Let's ask you, our pinned comment today, was Klint Kubiak the right hire for the Seattle Seahawks? Weigh in, let us know. Type Y for yes, in for no. Chime in on our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered, including tickets for the NFL playoffs. The big game is coming up here pretty soon. I've had some great memories taking my dad to an NFL playoff game, and you can make memories that last a lifetime. And whether you're looking for tickets in the Seattle area, maybe you want to go see the Kraken play, maybe you want to go see the Washington Huskies, or head down the road, go see Washington State or Gonzaga, whatever it may be. They got tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then boom, just like that, you're checking out on Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. And get this, folks. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's the deal you don't want to pass up on. They have their Customize Your Spot feature where you can find the best spot for you, and they also have their seat views so you can get the visual, see what that seat is like. They also offer the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Game Time, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks Today. Now the bad news. Our old friend Pete Carroll, the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. We're excited for Pete to get this opportunity with Vegas to return to the National Football League. But it might be coming at a cost, as Pete is already looking at stealing some of the Seahawks coaching staff, including Seahawks defensive assistant Carl Scott for a position with Las Vegas. Jonathan Jones of CBS posting the following on X. One name to keep an eye on for Pete Carroll's Las Vegas staff is Carl Scott. Seattle's defensive passing game coordinator. Scott worked for Nick Saban before joining Carroll in 2021, a potential DC target for the Raiders. And then that was followed up later by Jonathan Jones saying the Raiders have now requested permission from the Seahawks to interview Carl Scott, sources tell the NFL on CBS. I'll say this. It's good for Carl Scott. I'm glad to see him get recognized and him to potentially get a good opportunity. If he gets that job or if he leaves for a defensive coordinator job, whatever it may be, good for Carl Scott. But this is bad for Seattle here to potentially be losing a guy of the caliber of Carl Scott who's done a very good job. Think about this. Mike Macdonald, when he came in and took over, he cleaned house except for one individual. And that individual was none other than Carl Scott. He was the only assistant retained by Mike Macdonald on the 2024 coaching staff. And get this, because Carl Scott's position is DB's coach and passing game coordinator, that is not viewed in league circles to being the same level as a defensive coordinator. So the fact that he's interviewing for the defensive coordinator spot, the non-compete clause in his contract does not apply. Seattle cannot block the hire of Carl Scott. If he is to get the defensive coordinator position there with the Las Vegas Raiders, there is nothing that Seattle can do about it to prevent him from taking that opportunity if it is given to him. He's been Seattle's DB's coach and passing game coordinator since 2022. Prior to that, he was the DB's coach for the Minnesota Vikings. He spent 10 seasons in college football in the FBS ranks as a defensive assistant. So he's been waiting for this opportunity to move up through the coaching ranks and potentially get his shot to prove his worth. And for those that may not know Carl Scott and what exactly he's brought to this Seahawks team, think about the development of Devin Witherspoon and Rick Woolen. I know Rick's got a lot of haters out there these days, but we do have to keep in mind he was a fifth-round pick, and look at him now. He still has come a long way from what was projected to be as a former fifth-round pick, and Devin Witherspoon's coming off back-to-back Pro Bowl appearances. And then you think about the other guys. Julian Love has been a solid starter for Seattle the last couple of seasons. He was a Pro Bowler last year. Kobe Bryant took a huge step in the right direction as well. You look at Jones and some of these others here. I mean, I'll say this, like, he has gotten the most out of these guys of what he's had to work with. This would be a big loss for Seattle if they were to lose Carl Scott. Not saying that it's impossible to replace him, but it would be hard to find somebody out there that's as good as Carl Scott with the job that he's done. And I hope that he stays. Selfishly speaking, I think Seahawks fans feel the same way. We would love to see Carl Scott stick around, but nobody's going to blame him whatsoever if he jumps on this opportunity and goes to the Las Vegas Raiders and gets the chance to be a defensive coordinator, because all signs point to the Seahawks aren't changing the defensive staff, that AD is not going to lose his job, and he's also not getting hired away elsewhere, that if Carl Scott comes back, he would hold the same position he holds now. Are you worried about Carl Scott leaving Seattle? If you are, type W for worried. If you really just don't care, if you're saying to yourself, well, he's a position coach, then type D for don't care. Weigh in, let us know. Type W for worried, D for don't care. Chime in the comment section below. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings on your favorite team all off-season long. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. There we go. One down. 2 to go. Into the first period of the Kraken game. Are you worried about Carl Scott leaving Seattle? Type W for worried, D for don't care. Juno doesn't care. Lori doesn't care. Scott doesn't care. We got Legend saying worried. Cash Money's worried. Ian's worried. Pat is worried. I think you should be worried. I think you should be worried because he is a very good assistant coach. And I think that it would be hard to replace him. I really do. I think you should be concerned if he does leave elsewhere. We'd be happy for him to get that chance elsewhere, but I think it would not be advised for Seattle to lose him. Let us know what you think. W for worried, D for don't. Super Chat menu. What are we waiting for, folks? We're 30 minutes into the show, and I haven't seen a Super Chat come in yet. $10 for taking Jello shots. $20, we got the beer bong here. And there is no mailbag today, folks. There is no mailbag. So the only way that we can guarantee that I will see your question, that I will be able to respond on any question, comment, or concern you may have is by Super Chatting. So you got to Super Chat if you want to get on today's show. I got 8 Jello shots here. By the end of the day, I want to get rid of all of these. I want them out of here. I want to take care of all of them accordingly. But you guys got a Super Chat to give us the opportunity to do that. $10, we're doing Jello shots. $20, we're doing beer bongs. Who is going to be the one to get this party started and get us the first Super Chat of the day? I'm waiting. I am patiently waiting. The first Super Chat of the day, I promise you, we are going to go wild here, and we're going to show you some love. I don't care if you just send in $1 or if you send in a big amount. I want to see us have a great time with that first Super Chat that comes in. $ next to the chat box if you would like to contribute there. Up next, we are talking free agent targets. We're going to go over the top positions of need for Seattle and look at the best players available that the Seahawks could potentially sign. And then after that, we'll talk about replacement options for Tyler Lockett, who we expect to move on and not return to Seattle after this year. We'll go over some guys they could draft, and we'll also go over some guys they could potentially sign in a free agency. So that's what we have on today's show. Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for joining us as we continue here on this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Seattle Flight saying smash those likes. Hey, every like counts. Every like counts. If you haven't already, hit that like button, and we appreciate you guys doing that and supporting the show in that way. Free agent targets, let's go over that as we continue. We head to the second period here on Seahawks Today. Let's get started right now. You're watching Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. On today's show, we're going to break down the top free agents available, according to Pro Football Focus, at every one of the Seahawks' top areas of need heading into the offseason. And if you need a quick refresher, these are the priority needs for Seattle. Obviously, there's some other needs to address, but these are the priorities. The interior of the offensive line, the guard spots, the center position. We don't know if Olu's quite good enough yet. We shall see. The offensive tackle spot, is Abraham Lucas going to stay healthy? At the very least, you need some backup options behind Lucas and Cross. The edge rusher position, you're likely going to be without Uchenna Nwosu and Draymond Jones. Need some other parts there. The corner position, you look at some of the pieces there. You got Devin Witherspoon, you got Rick Woolen, but you don't have a ton of other options there. The defensive line, as of right now, Jarrett Reed is a free agent. You got Byron Murphy there. You got Leonard Williams there, but you need some more. Jonathan Hankins also a free agent. The tight end spot, Noah Fant was a little underwhelming this year. Looking to upgrade and replace him potentially. And then the safety spot, love what we saw from Julian Love. Kobe Bryant had a nice breakout year in the second half of the season, but you need some depth pieces, and we know that Mike Macdonald wants the ability to run 3 high safeties, and they weren't really able to do that a ton in 2024. So with that said, let's start with the guard position for Seattle. The top guard on the market is Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. He will get the chance to compete for another Super Bowl title, and he is not going to be cheap. He's expected to go for at least $22 million on the free agent market, but he is pretty damn good, if I'd say so myself, and he's done a really good job of protecting Patrick Mahomes. Will Fries of the Indianapolis Colts is also on this list as well, and you have to think that if Fries gets the opportunity to leave, he would love the chance to get out of Indianapolis, as that organization doesn't look like they're going anywhere. And then there's Tevin Jenkins, drafted out of Oklahoma State a couple of years ago. And the coaching staff kind of had their doubts on Tevin Jenkins, but then he really started to put it together, and he's turned into a solid starting guard in this league. And I don't think you necessarily would have to break the bank for Tevin Jenkins either. Meanwhile, at the center position, names include Drew Dahlman from the Atlanta Falcons. And think about this. Olu has shown some positional flexibility. So if you're Seattle, if you find a center you like in this mix, that doesn't mean Olu necessarily has to go anywhere. Ryan Kelly, the veteran from the Indianapolis Colts, he's another option as well for Seattle. And then there's Coleman Shelton, also from the Chicago Bears as well, as a potential center option for Seattle there. So, who is a player the Seahawks should sign? We got plenty more names we're going to run through here, but we want to hear from you guys first. Who's a player that comes to mind that you would like to see Seattle pick up in free agency here in just a few weeks from right now? Seahawks Today is closing in on 63,000 subscribers here on the channel as we continue to bring you daily news and rumors. We are doing live shows not just once but twice a week, each and every Monday and Wednesday here on the channel. We're bringing you breaking news, Q&A mailbags, your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. We are your Seahawks offseason headquarters. Help us reach our next milestone, 63,000 subscribers, just 350 away from reaching that next mark. For the latest happenings to your favorite team all offseason long, subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. The edge rusher position for Seattle, we mentioned Uchenna Nwosu and Draymond Jones probably on the way out. Khalil Mack of the LA Chargers is available. Khalil Mack has had a Hall of Fame career. He has been fantastic throughout his time period, and we've seen that over the years, Mike Macdonald has a pretty good track record of working with these older pass rushers. Khalil Mack, just a couple of seasons ago, had 18 sacks plus in a single season. Josh Sweat of the Philadelphia Eagles, he's been kind of forgotten about there in Philly. They have so many good defensive players that he's kind of faded a bit there in Philly, but he does feel like a guy that Mike Macdonald could certainly utilize and get the most out of him. And then there's Hassan Reddick from the New York Jets. Had a long holdout there with the New York Jets. Finally showed up at the halfway point of the year, and it was a bit too late for Hassan Reddick as the Jets season was quickly falling apart, and he didn't meet expectations of what the Jets were hoping for, and his value has gone down quite a bit from what it was at this time a year ago. The corners. Here's a familiar name to Seahawk fans. DJ Reed. Could he make a return to Seattle? I got to tell you, DJ Reed's one of those guys that when you look at players Seattle moved on from, that there's a bit of regret. I wish DJ Reed was still a member of the Seattle Seahawks. That is one that got away from Seattle, and we've seen John Schneider really like the reunions over the years. Maybe there's a window open for DJ Reed to make a comeback. A name that is familiar within the division, San Francisco 49ers corner Charvarius Ward. He won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, and his play took another level when he went to San Francisco. He has thrived in that San Francisco defense and has turned into a really good player. And then from the Buffalo Bills, there is Rasul Douglas as an option available as well. He's been a pretty good player for that Buffalo Bills defense that just reached the AFC Championship game. Should the Seahawks bring back DJ Reed? I would love to see DJ Reed make a return to Seattle. I think he's exactly what this team could use right now. Weigh in, let us know. Type Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks bring back DJ Reed? Weigh in the comments section and let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and get $50 to play for free. When you play $5, you don't even have to win to get the money. And Prize Picks right now is offering you the chance to win up to 1,000 times your money. The big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win free cash. So with that in mind, for the big game, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes to have more than half a passing yard. Give me Saquon to have more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. I put $20 down, and both those hit. That turns into $50 on Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks Today. Let's go to the interior of the defensive line now, and that's where we find Osa. We're going to call him Osa. The big fella there in Dallas, and somebody that AD is very familiar with as well. Staying within the NFC Beast is Philadelphia Eagles defensive lineman Milton Williams as another option as well for Seattle. And then we also find Levi O from the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions defense much improved this past year, particularly at the defensive line, and Levi O was a part of that as well. The tight end position with Seattle likely moving on from Noah Fant and looking at other options here. I think they're more likely to go to the draft, but if they do to go to free agency, there's a few options, which include Juwan Johnson from the New Orleans Saints, who has been very good in recent years. Also, Mike Gesicki from the Cincinnati Bengals is another option as well. Gesicki, solid with the Miami Dolphins. He was a nice target for Joe Burrow this past season with the Cincinnati Bengals as well. He's another potential option there. And then Tyler Conklin from the New York Jets is another name to keep an eye on as well there with New York. And if you're him, why would you want to play for the New York Jets in all their problems? We know that the Seahawks want that tight end position under Mike Macdonald to be more involved than what we've seen in previous eras under Pete Carroll, and there might be an opportunity for a guy like Conklin to thrive there as far as that goes. What is the biggest need the Seahawks should address? We've gone over several of them. What comes to mind to you? Weigh in and tell us. And if you're going to tell me offensive line, which I know some of you are, be specific, please. Tell me what it is specifically the Seahawks need to address in the comment section below. Let's go to the safety spot now. We find Javon Holland of the Miami Dolphins also on this list. We also see Talanova Hufanga on the list. I'm trying, folks. Bear with me on this. Of the San Francisco 49ers. And then Cameron Bynum of the Minnesota Vikings also on this list as well as potential options there. And for some of you that may be saying, look, we already got Julian, we already got Kobe. Well, that didn't stop Mike Macdonald from getting the most out of Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, and Geno Stone in Baltimore. You can have 3 good safeties in a Mike Macdonald defense and have them all be effective as far as that goes. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings in your favorite team all offseason long. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the channel. All right. 2 down, 1 to go. Up next, we will get to our Tyler Lockett replacements. But let's ask you, should the Seahawks bring back DJ Reed? I love the idea of bringing back DJ Reed. I think that's a no-brainer. I think it was dumb that they let him walk to begin with, but we need DJ Reed back. Seattle flights, there is no mailbag today. Hashtag Seahawks is going to get you nowhere. Juno, we're going to catch up on Super Chats here in a bit. We're in the middle of a segment. We'll catch up on Super Chats. Don't worry. And I've only had one Super Chat today from Ian. Juno, you did not send a Super Chat. Nice try. Nice try. We did not forget. We'll go to Ian here in just a bit. Should the Seahawks bring back DJ Reed? Y for yes, in for no. And I see Cash Money saying yes. I see Lon saying yes. Seems like everybody's on the same page. We'd like to see DJ Reed come back. Ian with the first Super Chat of the day. Let's go, Ian. Let's go, Ian. Let's go, Ian. Everybody spam Ian in the chat. I told you I'd go crazy for Ian. He says, go Seahawks, go wild, guys. Bill Gates. There you go. That wild enough for you? That wild enough for you? Shout out Bill Gates. Seattle's finest. Bill Gates. Is he still eating that fake meat, by the way? Is Bill Gates still eating fake meat? I don't understand that. Why would anyone eat artificial meat? Like, I'd rather be a vegetarian than eat fake meat. I don't understand. And thanks for the Super Chat. Much appreciated. If you want to be like Ian and to send us a Super Chat, here's all you got to do. $sign next to the chat box. If you'd like to contribute, and we'll show you some love like we did Ian. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you guys want on the show, this is your opportunity to do so. The only way you can get on screen is by sending a Super Chat. Jello shots, we haven't even touched these today. I got 8 of these. I came prepared, folks, and you haven't given me the opportunity to have any of them. $10, we're doing Jello shots here on today's program. $20, we'll get out the beer bong. We haven't got the chance to touch this either yet. Somebody can give me the chance. Give me a chance, folks. I would love to devour all of these shots today, but we need your help to make it happen. $10 in Jello shots, $20 on beer bongs. The only way you're going to get on screen today is by sending a Super Chat. Up next, Tyler Lockett appears to be on his way out the door. We will go over potential replacement options for Tyler Lockett coming up in just a bit. So stay tuned for that. Raw Hector, I still can't believe the conversation that happened earlier between you and Big Tex. That was wild. That was wild. The Tom Brady one was another level. Yeah. That was something. That was something. But Raw Hector, you're a funny man. You are a funny man. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. All right. Tyler Lockett replacements. Let's go over that list in our final segment here on our Monday live edition of Seahawks Today. Jonesy and Big Tex here with you. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's get started with our final segment as we roll along here on this Monday live edition of Seahawks Today. Tyler Lockett replacements begins right now. Seahawks Today, Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Tyler Lockett, it appears, has likely played his last down in a Seahawks uniform. So, who could potentially replace him? We will explain more coming up in just a bit on today's show. Before we do, let's kind of set the scene for you here and tell you what has gone on with Tyler Lockett. He has had a fantastic career. He has been everything that embodies the spirit and the soul of the 12s. A first-team All-Pro in 2015, a two-time second-team All-Pro in 2016 and 17, a Pro Bowler in 2015. He was dynamic when they used him in special teams for a long time as he led the league in kickoff return yards in 2015, and he was very consistent. There was a number of seasons where you could count on Tyler Lockett to get that 1,000-yard milestone, and he carried himself with such grace and class. We love Tyler Lockett, and it's unfortunate that he's likely going to be gone, but that doesn't mean that we don't love him and don't respect him and everything that he's done. But at the end of the day, folks, this is why he's going to be gone next year. The cap hit, near $31 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. There's no way Seattle's taking on a cap hit of $31 million, especially when you consider the Seahawks cap space, according to Spotrac, is $23.5 million over the cap for next year. Now, granted, they can adjust some things, whether it's giving some extensions or cutting some players and free up some money. But simply put, there just is not enough money to justify Tyler Lockett getting $31 million. At the end of the day, this is a business. This is not an easy decision, but it's one that has to be done for Seattle. They do have to move on from Tyler Lockett. And here's the thing. Some of you, I already know, are going to be in the comments saying, well, they could just restructure him and just get him to take a pay cut. Well, newsflash. Why should he take a pay cut? Why should he? Somebody else out there, and probably a contending team for that matter, is going to be willing to pay more money than what Seattle can afford. If Tyler Lockett wants to come back to Seattle, it's going to have to be a major discount. And for his sake, at the end of his career, when you're trying to just cash those checks, I don't see why he would be willing to take a lot less money to come back to Seattle. I just don't think it makes sense for him at this point in his career. I think he's more likely to retire than to put on the Seahawks uniform again next year. A lot of great memories of Tyler Lockett with this Seahawks team over the years. What comes to mind? What's your favorite memory of Tyler Lockett? Spam it in the chat. I want to see a lot of memories in there. I want to see at least 100 plus of y'all sharing your favorite memories of Tyler Lockett. There's so many things to choose from. Weigh in and let us know. So what exactly are we looking for in a replacement for Tyler Lockett? Well, you already have DK and JSN as your number 1 and number 2 receivers. And we already know that Seattle does not have a ton of cash to spend. So with that, whether it's the free agent market or a draft pick, you are looking for somebody that isn't going to cost you a ton of money that can play the wide receiver 3 role for Seattle here. All right? Now, if you draft somebody and they turn into a number 1 or a number 2 receiver, that's great. But realistically, what you're looking for is somebody that can step in and play that number 3 receiver role. And if you look at Seattle's depth chart right now, this is your 2025 receiving room at the moment. Obviously, we're expecting some changes here pretty soon. You got DK, you got JSN. That's a fantastic 1-2 punch. But beyond that, it's not great. It will not be somebody internal. For all the Jake Bobo truthers out there, I can tell you this right now. I like Jake Bobo, don't get me wrong, but Jake Bobo is not a number 3 receiver in this league. He's barely a number 4 receiver. You are going to have to go shopping, whether it's the free agent market or the draft market, to find that replacement. So with that said, let's go over some free agents that shouldn't cost you too much. You shouldn't have to break the bank necessarily for these guys and could fill that role. Let's start with DeAndre Hopkins, the Kansas City Chiefs. DeAndre Hopkins, he still has something to offer. And he had a couple big games for Kansas City this year in a crowded receiving room with Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, and you still got Travis Kelce and Noah Gray there. And I think he could help take the pressure off of DK. He's got a similar body frame and build to DK, and we see DK taking on a lot of double teams. If you have to take DeAndre Hopkins into account, then that could open up things for DK. And part of the goal for Klint Kubiak as the Seahawks' new offensive coordinator is going to be trying to find more ways to get DK involved. DeAndre Hopkins could help as far as that goes. Maybe my favorite name on this list, Tutu Atwell of the LA Rams. And I got to tell you, every time I watch the film and see this guy play, Tutu Atwell, I feel, is underrated. He jumps off the page. I think Tutu Atwell is a playmaker and could be a natural fit in this Klint Kubiak offense and could be a very good complementary piece to play alongside DK and JSN and open things up in this offense. And on top of that, you get to take him away from the LA Rams as well. I think Tutu would be a very good fit for what Seattle is looking for potentially. If you had to pick one to sign, would you rather go D-Hop or you rather go Tutu Atwell? Type D-Hop for DeAndre Hopkins. Type Tutu for Tutu Atwell. Weigh in the comments section and let us know which one you would rather sign between those two. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got you covered. The NFL playoffs are here. The big game is coming up. I've had some great memories going to some playoff games, and you can too with Game Time, folks. You can make a life's worth of memories with the tickets you get from Game Time. And maybe you want to go to an event in the Seattle area. The Kraken, they're in action right now. They are a great event there at Climate Pledge Arena. It'll always be Key Arena to me. Whether it's the Kraken, maybe you can go watch UW, maybe it's Washington State, Gonzaga, whoever it may be. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not. And then just like that, you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They have their super deals. Those are deals you don't want to pass up on. You can customize your spot. They also have their seat views as well. And with Game Time, the lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price is guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Next up, we find Keenan Allen of the Chicago Bears, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers. And I got to say, with Keenan Allen in his career, he's been sneaky good. I feel like he has been forgotten about throughout his career. He has quietly gone about his business and has been an impact player. I think Keenan Allen would be a nice veteran presence, especially if you're losing a veteran like Tyler Lockett as far as that goes. Mike Williams of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he was traded there at the trade deadline. Prior to that was with the New York Jets. And the thing that I see with Mike Williams, there's some talent there, but whether it was in New York in a loaded receiver room with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, or going to Pittsburgh and playing alongside some of those guys there, like George Pickens and company, he kind of gets lost in the shuffle at times. He could really use a fresh start. And then another name, a guy that used to be in this division, Marquise Hollywood Brown. Hollywood! Of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got to say, I've watched every game that Hollywood's played with the Kansas City Chiefs this year. And the thing that stands out to me, his game has changed. He was always thought of as being a deep threat. And he still is, don't get me wrong. But he has more to offer than that. Marquise Brown came in for the Chiefs. And so far, granted it's been a small sample size, with Rashee Rice out, he has kind of taken on the Rashee Rice role of being that possession receiver, being that middle of the field, open in space guy. And I think that'd be nice for Seattle here to potentially be able to have that flexibility of a guy in Hollywood Brown that's not going to cost you a ton, that can do a multitude of things there. Who is a wideout that Seattle should sign? Who comes to mind that you would like to see the Seahawks sign? We're going to talk draft options in a moment, but we want to hear from you guys first. Give me a name in the comment section below. Seahawks Today is offering non-stop off-season coverage here on the channel as we continue to bring you our daily news and rumors. We're doing live shows every Monday and Wednesday here on the channel. We're doing breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more, all right here on your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. If you love the Hawks, this is the channel for you. Sub it up, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. We got you covered each and every day on the channel, sometimes 2 and 3+ videos a day. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Let's go to the draft now. No one is expecting Seattle to use a first-round pick on a receiver. Probably not even a second-round pick. So we got to think about day 2 and day 3 guys for this wide receiver spot. And we begin with Savion Williams out of TCU. And I love the hair, by the way. He is explosive. He is an explosive football player that can really just get the afterburners on. And I got to tell you, I'm very intrigued with what he potentially brings to the table there. How about Isaiah Bond from Texas? Now, this is interesting with Isaiah Bond. I've seen some people project as high as first round, and I've seen some people project as low as 4th round. I have no idea, to be honest with you, where Isaiah Bond is going to get picked. But what I can tell you is he was solid with Alabama, and he was really good with the University of Texas. In 2 completely different schemes, he shined. And then the speed factor. He's got some track speed. He, as Sark would say, he's all gas, no brakes. And he could potentially be an impact player in the return game as well, as far as that goes. Isaiah Bond, I think, is a very intriguing prospect. And he's not the only Longhorn on our list today that we'll get to here in just a bit. Pick one to draft. You want Savion Williams or you want Isaiah Bond? Type SW for Savion Williams. Type IB for Isaiah Bond. Weigh in and let us know. Next up, we go to the University of Stanford, and we find Alec Ayomanor. I call him Epic because he's epic. And he's so epic. He's got a large catch radius. Look, my hands can only go so far in this screen. But when I'm looking up there, he can go even higher than I can reach with that large catch radius. He's got some long arms. He's got a great vertical. I mean, this guy, he finds a way to bring them all in. And that's every quarterback's wet dream, is to have a receiver with a large catch radius. That's what he can bring to the table, and that's music to Geno Smith's ears. Next up, here's the other Longhorn for you. Matthew Golden from the University of Texas. And here's what I like about Matthew Golden. And I've got the chance to see him up close and personal. Same with Isaiah Bond. Went to a couple Texas games this year. Saw him play against OU. Saw him play against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. And he is what I call a separation creator. He does a really good job of getting away from defenders and getting that extra space to find ways to get open. He is a difference maker in that sense. And then the last name that we have on this list for you is Jalen Knoll, the first Knoll out of Iowa State. Iowa State, they had a fun offense this year. Rocco Beck had not one, but 2 1,000-yard receivers this year, and Jalen Knoll was one of them. And he is very route savvy, high football IQ. Think about Tyler Lockett for a moment. We're talking about replacing Tyler Lockett, right? Tyler Lockett was very route savvy. Smart football player. If you're looking to replace Tyler Lockett, Jalen Knoll could be that type of guy you're looking for in that sense. So before we go, who's a player the Seahawks should draft? Give me a name that comes to mind. Chime in that comment section and let us know. Follow me on X at Tyler Jones Live. Continuing Seahawks coverage. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. So I'm seeing somebody say no Tez Johnson. As I said earlier, and I will reiterate, we were not talking first-round receivers. I expect Tez to go in the first round. The Seahawks are not using a first-round pick on a wide receiver. So Tez, I like Tez. I loved him at Oregon. I don't know how many people know this, by the way. He and Bo Nix were roommates in high school. Bo Nix's family basically adopted him. Tez Johnson's family couldn't raise him. And so Bo Nix's family took him in. They're basically like brothers now. And then Bo Nix followed him to Oregon. Bo's gone to the NFL. Of course, he's with the Broncos now. It's a pretty neat story. So I know the Broncos certainly are going to have eyes on Tez Johnson about potentially pairing up those two in Denver again. But, yeah, very cool story there. So, but anyways, before we go, one last chance. We've only had one Super Chat today. What are we doing, folks? I am willing to put my body on the line for the 12s. But apparently you guys aren't for that today. Last chance to get on the show. $10 to do a Jello shot. $20 to do beer bongs. There is no mailbag today. So the only way you can get on this program is by sending a Super Chat. We'll put whatever message you have on screen, your avatar, your name, and all that. I'm putting a minute on the clock. Super chat of any amount. We'll pay off accordingly. We can keep the show going for a little bit. But this is your last chance. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Here on today's show. Ian says inflation has killed the super chats. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Tex says things will get better. He says inflation is going to go down. Big Tex does. We'll see. I don't want to pay $8 for eggs. $8 for eggs is crazy. I don't buy eggs, but I feel for people that are paying $8 for eggs. You're a big eggs guy, Tex?
Nothing makes me cringe more than seeing a $7.99 price tag on a 12-egg carton at Tom Thumb. I'm like, come on, man. I remember back in the day, this used to be like $4.99 or like $3.99. I feel like it's doubled in price in the last 5 years. Brutal.
Yeah, I mean,
such a good food.
And
too.
even somebody like me that doesn't necessarily buy eggs and cook eggs, it still affects me because I like to eat eggs when I go out. Like an egg on a burger.
Yep.
Or maybe I just go to the Waffle House and get eggs.
Good answer.
It all affects us in some way.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, I'm not seeing any super chats, so I guess we'll go. Appreciate y'all being here with us. Subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for continuing Seahawks coverage. Have a great rest of your Monday, everybody. For Big Tex, I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. So long, everybody.